It's basically the loss of land or sediment or sand or rocks or whatever it is from the coastline. So that in a nutshell is what coastal erosion is.
It is one of the major impacts of climate change. Communities are being washed away due to coastal erosion. In Belize, coastal areas along the length of the country, including populated tourist destinations like Placentia, Hopkins, and even the Keys, San Pedro and Kikoker, are experiencing increasing erosion. It is something that has been happening for a long time. It is not to be confused with seasonal erosion, also referred to as longshore drift.
The loss of land and soil is something that happens naturally at various times. But Belize, I believe, all across the coast in the north, in the south, and even in terms of Belize City, has been experiencing accelerated coastal erosion, where there is loss of material along the coast that is not coming back, right? This is not a case in which, you lose like Laughing Brook here. Some other cases you may lose a little amount of sand at this time of the year because of the wave action, and then it comes back at another time. We have done some work. I can say that as an office, the National Climate Change Office, we have been to the length and breadth of the country, and we have seen coastal erosion in areas such as Corozal. We've seen coastal erosion in Belize City. We've seen coastal erosion in Stan Creek, Hopkins, Damgriga. Um, we've seen coastal erosion happening in the south of Belize. It's driven by events such as hurricanes and storms, heavy wave action that results from that. Um, and also it is exacerbated by sea level rise. Sea level rise is a big thing because we face hurricanes and storms every single year, right? And if you go on the coast after a hurricane, you will see most likely land loss along the beach.
And while the physical impact on the environment is tangible, there are socioeconomic and cultural effects of coastal erosion on a community.
Erosion is something like it happens yearly, but this is one of the most tragic one per se. To be honest, like look, like being on the beach from a young kid, I would say, I mean, like about good 15 feet of beach have already been lost.
It have take a lot of homes already. We have to relocate it. Some of the homes that already relocated, the water is there already again at their doorstep. Every year to me it's getting worse and worse. The water tends to come in closer and closer to our home.
You will be losing livable land, right? And that has consequences, economic consequences. It has social, cultural consequences.
It is an issue that is expected to get worse as sea level is projected to rise. The rule of thumb is a 1 to 100 relationship with sea level rise and flooding. So if the sea level rises by an inch, it is going to flood by 100 inches, washing away the Belizean coast. And while there has been man-made interventions such as constructing seawalls, it is an expensive venture for which there is limited finance.
Many municipalities are putting a lot of hard structures there on the coast and even removing the natural systems that can help to prevent land loss and coastal erosion, natural systems such as mangroves and all of that. We've been looking at ways in which we can tackle the issue through project development. Of course, these things are expensive. And so it is something that we're looking at. There are various strategies that can be used.
Deputy Chief Climate Change Officer Colin Mathis speaks of possible remedies in the short and long term.
My research, the research that we have done, has shown that many of these structures, whether it's tires or sandbags or whatever, tends to make the issue worse. So there are certain things that can be done. The expense, the short-term ones, the one that we want to go for are the expensive ones. Another expensive one, pumping sand from the sandbar. that's further out to sea, right? So using hydraulic pumps and pumping back that sand. So if you go to Dangrigan, you see areas along the school where they're, where they're losing a lot of sand along the beach there. Pumping sand from the sandbar back onto those areas is another remedy. But then again, you have to do that every couple of years. And so that's another expensive venture, right? But it is a possibility. There are other possibilities, hard structures such as seawalls. Um, we've seen seawalls in the north. We've seen seawalls in Belize City, I guess because it makes economic sense. One of the best, and I should say this, remedies, and this is long term, and it's the cheapest, is ensuring that we have natural systems along the coast. Mangroves, right? Those are the things that we remove, but those are the systems that are best suited to prevent coastal erosion.
That long-term remedy to coastal erosion is something in which political will is needed as it shifts the conversation to sustainable development because mangroves are often cleared for multi-million-dollar investments in tourism. This story is published with the support of the Caribbean Climate Justice Journalism Fellowship, which is a joint venture between Climate Tracker and Open Society Foundations.